In the shadowy underworld of Europe's criminal elite, there is one name whispered with equal parts fear and awe: Leonardo Notarbartolo. A man whose mind was sharper than any weapon, whose charm was as disarming as his precision was ruthless. He was not a thug, not a reckless bandit, but an architect of deception. In 2003, Antwerp, Belgium, home to the world's most secure diamond district, was the stage for a heist so daring, so flawlessly executed, that law enforcement still calls it the most brilliant theft in history. And at the center of it all was Leonardo, a man who had been planning the impossible for years. The Antwerp Diamond Center was a fortress. 2 floors underground, a vault protected by multiple layers of technology, designed to make theft an absurd fantasy. Heat sensors that could detect a body's warmth from meters away, seismic alarms triggered by the faintest vibration, Doppler radar that scanned for movement, a magnetic field to detect tampering, and of course, a steel door with nearly 100 million possible key combinations. Experts said it was impenetrable. They were wrong. Months before the heist, Leonardo rented a small office inside the Diamond Center. From there, he observed the comings and goings of merchants and guards, every schedule, every gap in security. To them, he was a harmless trader, just another face in the district's daily shuffle. But to his carefully chosen crew, an elite team of thieves, each a specialist, he was orchestrating a symphony of precision. The man they called the Genius was putting every piece in place. Friday, February 14th, 2003. As the city prepared for a weekend of commerce and celebration, Leonardo's crew slipped into the Diamond Center like ghosts. Every safeguard that was supposed to make the vault untouchable became just another problem solved. A spray of hair lacquer disabled the heat sensors. Aluminum sheets taped to the walls tricked the motion detectors. A simple override, learned through months of surveillance, silenced the magnetic field. And with a handmade replica of the vault's key, the door that should have stood for eternity swung open silently. It was not brute force, it was art. Inside lay more than $100 million in diamonds, gold, and jewelry, packed in hundreds of safe deposit boxes. For hours, they worked methodically, emptying one after another, leaving behind nothing but scraps of broken locks and shadows of wealth. By dawn, when the vault was discovered, Leonardo and his crew had vanished without a trace. Authorities were stunned. How had anyone bypassed what was considered the safest vault on Earth? How had they carried away so much treasure without tripping a single alarm? The story dominated headlines worldwide. The perfect crime had been committed, but perfection is fragile. Somewhere along the escape, a small detail, a bag of trash discarded in the wrong place, began to unravel the illusion. Inside were scraps of evidence, half-eaten food, strands of DNA, fragments of tape. It was the kind of mistake Leonardo himself had always warned against. Within weeks, Belgian police connected the dots, and the genius of Antwerp was unmasked. Leonardo Notarbartolo was arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Yet even behind bars, he refused to reveal the full truth. Most of the diamonds were never recovered. To this day, law enforcement believes much of the treasure was laundered through Italy's black market, vanishing forever into the hands of unseen buyers. And so, the legend of Leonardo Notarbartolo endures, not as a tale of brute strength, but of intellect, patience, and audacity. A thief who turned the world's most secure vault into nothing more than a locked door with the wrong key. A man who proved that sometimes the most dangerous weapon is not a gun, but a mind that refuses to accept limits. The question that still haunts investigators is not just how he did it, but whether he truly ever stopped. Because in the world of Leonardo Notarbartolo, the line between freedom and capture, genius and madness, triumph and ruin, is as thin as a lock's final click.